Wilson back again today, and I have a very different card for you. You've seen me cut all sorts of straight edges, but this one's got a little bit more of a freeform style to it, so I think you might enjoy this demo. We're going to be using a couple of different things here. The dies we're using are the Delicate Daisies, and I'm going to show you a new style of flower using both the complete petal and the open petal. And I'm going to be using the large polka dot mask from That Special Touch. So we'll do a little bit of inking to begin with. I'm going to start here with this piece of aqua blue card, and I'm using the Adirondack Snowcap pigment ink for this. Take off your little layer there. And just using the mask, and because we're doing kind of a free form style, we're just going to be inking through this randomly. And with this white ink, it doesn't show up really well until you remove your mask, so don't panic, you will see it. We're just going to do a bit of random inking all the way around it. There we go. So you can see you've got some dotty patterns. Some are a little bit heavier, some are a little bit lighter, but it really does show through. Now I'm going to come back to this piece in a little bit. I'm going to let that sit for a moment. We'll put our ink pad back together here. Oh, there it is. And I'm going to do a little bit more of the inking through the mask, but with the coconut white. And I'm going to be using the Adirondack Aqua dye-based ink. Same thing, I'm just going to lay the mask on and just kind of ink through it in random spots. We'll move it down here. It's fun to kind of get a free form going every once in a while. Just let your imagination take hold and your creativity. So you can see I've got just a bit of the pattern going on top and bottom corners because we're going to put something in the middle there. Okay. Now, I'm going to come back to this piece we did, and I'm going to do a little bit of tearing, getting it started. Now, I find it's easier to tear away from myself, or towards myself, but with it backwards. I apologize. Just going to run it down like this. There we go. Actually, let's get a nice edge on that. I'll tear it this direction. And when you tear away from yourself like that, you'll end up with that edge on there. If you turn it over, you can see the edge on the back side. It just depends on what you like. And I'm just using my thumbnail to kind of guide it along as I go. There we go. And to give it a little bit more of a distressed look, I'm going to use some scissors to rough the edge. And that'll break the fibers up a bit in your cardstock and really get you a nice look. A little bit of tearing, maybe do some cuts. We want that distressed look on this. Really work it into that fiber, and you can bring it up. And then I like to kind of do a little bit of pinching on the corners. There we go. So you can see you've got a really nicely distressed piece there. So we're going to stamp this with our sentiment, and I'm going to be using just a Get Well sentiment from our bold Creative Expressions Bold Sentiment set. Using the black archival ink, I'm going to ink up my stamp by tapping it lightly, and we'll just put it down here in this corner, about like that. That looks nice. And I'm just going to give it a quick blast with the heat tool and make sure it's good and dry. Same thing with the pigment ink. It'll dry naturally on its own, but it's nice to have a little bit of a heating to speed up the process a little bit. Okay, now let's go ahead and put this onto our background. And I'm going to do just a tiny bit of distressing around the edge with my scissors here, just to keep with the whole look of the card. Just rubbing that edge, bringing that fiber up. And depending on how distressed you want it, you can actually work on little sections more. You can put some little tears in there. Really does look quite nice when it's all done. There we go. Okay, I like the way that looks. So we'll go ahead and tape that into place. I've already created a little bit of a background there. I've got a black mat. I've done some Cosmic Shimmer white PVA glue dots around the edge to create a frame. We'll go ahead and put this together and we'll show you the flower. That looks good, okay. And I've done a piece of white card just to kind of offset behind my blue ahead of time. Same exact method where I've done some distressing around the edge. We're going to kind of put that on at an angle a little bit. We'll put our central focal element here that we've stamped on across that. Get that a little bit more straight. There we go. And now let's show you what we've done with the flower. I've gone ahead and cut a couple of the complete petal Delicate Daisies. I want to do a little bit of inking just to pick up the edge of it with our cut and dry and our aqua. Just ever so lightly, I'm going to tip these. There we go. And do a little teeny bit of forming. And like I said, I like to just use my fingernail to give these some shape. You can also use a stylus and a foam mat if you like, but just a tiny bit to that. And we'll put some glue in the center here because we're going to double that up and give that a second to get set up while we do this one. See how naturally it just curls if you just rub your fingernail across the bottom of it? Gives it a more lifelike appearance. So we'll offset these a tiny bit, giving you a really nice, full, complete looking flower right there. Oops, move back. There we go. Now, I've done one of the Open Petals, same exact size as this, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take my scissors and I'm going to trim these off, taking off the looped part of that to completely change the way it looks. And it'll give you a different look to the inside of your flower. So we'll do a tiny bit of inking on it too. Just going to grab the tips of these. Make that one a little bit darker. Okay. And I've got a couple here that are quite as even as the rest, so we'll just nip those off. That looks good. Put some glue in the center here. And this one I'm going to kind of form up around a little bit. Pop that down into the center of your flower. And we're going to put a black 8mm pearl in the center of that to kind of coordinate with the whole card. Seat that right in the middle there. And I've tied a little bow here, double bow, out of some black twine. I'm going to put that underneath my flower, and let's just use a little bit of glue for that. Pop that into place. And you've got these little ends, and you can kind of let them go wherever you like, or you can stick a little bit of glue into place and hold them exactly where you want to put them to. It's your choice. And we will just pop our flower into place. A little bit of glue, and you can spread these around and just give them whatever shape you like at that point. There we go. And I'm going to finish off with a couple of black pearls up here in the corner. We'll do 3 of them. Just put a little bit of glue where I want them. And it'll give you a nice little balance, I think. There we go. How is that for a really quick and easy card, especially when you need something in a jiffy? I think that really does the trick. enjoyed today's video.